I do have an important counsel for you, and I want you to pay as much attention as possible because it will not just be my words, it will be established with the scriptures. And here's the counsel: anything at all you intend to do or you have to do, receive the counsel and the mind of God concerning it before you take further steps. I'll say it again and in another expression. Whatsoever it is you intend to do, whatsoever it is you desire to do, whatsoever it is you consider necessary to do, receive the mind of God, the counsel of God, the wisdom of God concerning it, particularly because in some cases you are very correct. What you want to do should be done, but the best method is not yet known, and you do not have the best method. So, in the cases when you do not have the best method, heaven grants you the best method. Now, in the cases when you are wrong, heaven brings you correction. In the cases when you intend to do the right thing but at the wrong time, heaven brings you a realignment. In the cases where you went to do the right thing the wrong way or the wrong thing the right way, heaven brings you readjustment. But whatever it is you want to do, a business investment, a business you want to initiate, an idea you want to work on, a project you want to begin, the relationship you want to start, as a Christian, I highly encourage that you seek the counsel of God concerning any of those things part time. You should get used to doing it. And here's why: trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and lean not on thine understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. This is Proverbs chapter 3, from verse 5 to 6. If there's someone I trust much better than yourself in the ability to lead you, then it is God, particularly because he has lived for much longer. He created everything, including you. He has a plan for everything, including you. Um, and everything was created for his own pleasure. So he knows how to get the best out of everybody and every situation. I mean, every soul. It is best to trust in the Lord than to trust in yourself. So the scripture says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. It means have no backup plan when it concerns trusting the Lord, such that when the Lord tells you to move on the subject of matter and take action, and you feel like all things are not ready, the fact that the Lord has told you to move is a sign that all things are ready, or all things will be ready. And if the Lord tells you to sit on the matter you intend to move on, it is because He understands that your desire to move is great, but some things are missing. So when you do not feel ready, but He knows you're ready, He will give you the go ahead. But when you feel ready and it is just a deceit of your mind about to cast you into some significant amount of loss, he will provide the backup knowledge because he knows all things, including the future. Yes, yes. Trust in the Lord in all matters and seek his counsel at all times. He says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God that gives to all men liberally. I see nothing wrong in asking for wisdom concerning a particular project or matter you intend to do. Absolutely nothing wrong. Particularly because I don't want to re-emphasize the fact that he knows all things, but he understands the challenges you will face in a bid to get that project done. Let's consider marriage and interpersonal relationship for an example. Even if you spend 10 years dating a person, yes, 10 years dating a person, you still cannot figure out all concerning their character. You can figure out much, but not all. And the little you are living out can become the end of that relationship. Yes. So sometimes you want to go into one, all boxes are ticked. He is rich, she is beautiful, well spoken, well mannered, and all of that and more. But there's an impending disaster waiting ahead. This person has severe anger issues, and when they are violent, it looks like an attempt to murder. But you do not know because you cannot see beyond the makeup. Then the Lord comes to tell you when you ask of Him wisdom, then He comes to tell you, as concerning this person, I do not have a problem. However, there's something that needs to be addressed. This person has a very terrible anger problem. And you are surprised the Lord is telling you someone so cool, someone so gentle has anger problems. I recommend you trust Him. Yes, I do. I have a personal experience and I'll share it. So I met a lady some few years ago. She was everything good. Beautiful, dark skinned, slim, everything that would tick my physical boxes. And she sounded intelligent from her speech. So I thought everything was a go go. Then at night, I was talking to the Lord about my day and I was telling Him everything. Then I told Him about the lady. Let's call the lady Lucia. Then I told the Lord about Lucia. And I told the Lord about how that she said she's a Christian. She even mentions the church she attends and all of that and more. And the Lord simply gave a response. He said, if you are joined with this person, you will be joined with a strange flesh. And I was surprised he would use that kind of language. Then I said, but she said she's a Christian. And he replied, mm-hmm. It took me 7 months to find out what he was saying. 7 whole, I think it was even longer than that. But the minimum it took me was 7 months to find out what he was saying. If I didn't trust him the first night, I would have been in crisis 7 months later. A very genuine one that had nothing to do with everything I had seen. But when some discussions were happening between myself and a friend, Lucia came in and was confessing about her relationship woes and how that her first boyfriend was misbehaving and now her second boyfriend is misbehaving. Well, unfortunately for me, I might just have been number three because with the fact that there's a first and a second, it's a pointer to the fact that she might not be used to saying no to the people she likes. That's a personal episode. Talk to the Lord about everything and anything. Well, of course, He is not too holy to listen to you even when you are foolish. Because the eye of the Lord walks around to and fro the earth and He sees everything. He sees the murder. He saw the one in Jos. He sees the one in Zamfara. He sees the one in Sokoto. He sees everything. Every single thing. The eyes of the Lord sees everything. That is exactly the reason He will bring judgment to everything when the time is right. So seek counsel. Alright? Jeremiah 33 and verse 3 implies that call unto me and I will answer you. And I will not stop at answering. I will show you great and mighty things. We are quite contented with calling unto the Lord. But when it comes to answering and showing, We have some sentiments and we have some reservations, but I have come to tell you that you have to remove that, because whenever you call on the Lord, you should always expect a response. And when I mean a response, I mean genuine response from the Lord, particularly because He does not leave His own to suffer. He would not watch you want to make a devastating mistake and He will leave you alone. If you belong to Him, that is when He will send you dreams. That is when He will send you prophets. That is when He will make people lose their sleep to pray for you. And these people will keep wondering, why do I pray for this person? And why can I not sleep conveniently? But the Lord will rather put them to that inconvenience to ensure that you are fine, because He doesn't want evil to befall you. I understand that you have gone through one adverse circumstance or the other. I tell you that it could have been worse if the Lord was not involved. It could have been worse. No matter how evil it was, it could have been worse. And I do not talk less of the things you have lost. No. You lost a friend, you lost a brother, you lost a sister, you lost a daughter, you lost a son. It could have been worse. It could have been worse. Satan planned for worse. Yes, he did. Now, it could have been averted and avoided totally, but we give thanks to the mercy of the Lord, because it could have been worse. And I say this carefully and with all sense of respect. That even in the things you consider irrelevant, please talk to the Lord about it. David was a warlord, a very certified one, captain over army, and in his growth and in his life. And when the Philistines charged at him when he became king, he still asked to ask the Lord, shall I go against them? And the first time the Lord said, yes, feel free. He went, he pursued, and he got victory. But they regrouped again and they came back like they were not just defeated. And the Lord told him, circle round about them and wait for the movement on the mulberry tree. Then you kill them in, like you circle them in like a siege. The Lord was giving David, a warlord, a military strategy that will ensure for longer victory than the last one. The Lord knows your concern. The Lord knows your desire. He knows your fears. He knows your worries. He knows the things that befall you. He knows the things that you are afraid of. Even though He has told you to fear not, He knows the things that worry your heart. If you present them to Him, I assure you, you have reduced chances of making terrible mistakes. Because everything that happens in your life is powered by the decisions you make. And if you make a very foolish decision at one point in time or the other, it will take the mercy of the Lord for you not to pay for it significantly. So in a bid to reduce your ability to make mistakes, if anything is true, you excel in the ability to make mistakes. And if your life is left to you alone, I assure you, in just a few months, you will damage yourself. Yes, in just a few months, you will damage yourself physically, emotionally, and psychologically. If your life is left to you totally without the influence of God and godly people around, or without the influence of the mercy of God at all, you will damage yourself. Jesus, the Son of God, in Luke chapter 6, verse 12 to 13, prayed all night. Then He came to choose His disciples. And in His choice was Judas Iscariot, having prayed all night, because the scripture had to be fulfilled. Um, you have not prayed at all, and you want to make a life determining decision. I mean, one of the most life determining decisions we get to make in our young age and in our youth is the decision of who to stay married to. Because if care is not taken, you would be married 4 times before you are 40. And if anything is true, that is not in itself a blessing. No, it is not a blessing. Then you have not prayed about it at all. You have only lived for 25 years, and the remaining, let's say, 75 years of your life, you're going to spend with one person, and you want to make that choice just because of beauty and body figure. I assure you, it will take me a lot to not tell you that you are mad. It will take me a whole lot to not tell you that. All of those things are good, they are not bad, but I think prayer should go first so that you get to hear the mind of the Lord concerning it, so that you do not pick someone who will damage you before you are even 35. Before you are 35. Seek God before acting. Depend on Him for direction. Do not make independent mistakes by declaring your independence from the Lord. When it is totally needed, wait for the Lord to give you clarity. And trust in His counsel above your reasoning. Trust in the Lord's counsel more than your reasoning. I know you have an MBA. Yes, I have a PhD. But for every important decision I still need to make, I prefer to trust in the Lord than in the solution I had to prefer for a ravaging disease for my PhD. Uh, I'm sure the Lord knows better, because that very same thesis I wrote, I have found more complicated ones than it. I have found less complicated ones than it. And in some cases, I have found those who are just as good as it. So your degrees do not make you better than any other person. No, they do not. They only affirm the value that education has conferred on you and your ability to lead and take decisions in key aspects of life and human endeavors that you can be trusted in. It does not in any way reduce the potential foolishness that can come out of you. It does not in any way reduce the damage you can do to yourself when you lean on your own understanding. It does not. And this is why I implore you, in everything at all that you will do, be sure to have the counsel of the Lord concerning it. If this is something you already do, please continue in it. If this is something you do not make a practice of, I strongly recommend that as a believer that you are, make adjustment and begin to do it regularly. Make adjustments and begin to do it regularly for every important matter. There are times that you will definitely not pray about a thing, but because it is your culture to talk to the Lord about everything, He will talk to you about everything, even when you have not done that. There are many testimonies of people who were saved from accidents and robberies because the Lord instructed them to take a delay or a detour on their way home. There are multiple testimonies of the advantages of listening to the Lord on important matters. I think you should add yours to it. It will make your life easier and better. I'll tell you a final story. One of those days I was going to the city of Ibadan from Ado-Ekiti, and the Lord told me a night before, when you get to the bus park and there are two people left for the bus to be filled, do not enter. Right when I got there were two people left for the bus to be filled, and with the hurry of everyone that was there, I decided to enter, and everything was going smooth. About 35-40 minutes into the journey, I decided to pray, and when I began to pray, I saw in a vision a body of water flowing towards the car, like a body of heavenly water flowing towards the car. And when the water flowed to where I was, the car stopped immediately. It stopped immediately. There were multiple attempts to repair the car, but it would not repair itself. Then the man took off his dress to try to make further repair attempts, and I saw on his body incisions and tattoos that had to do with Ifa, which is a god of divination. And here I was in his car. I have prayed, and my prayer involved that God should come and join us on the journey. So I have caused trouble. So a he replaced an important part of the car and made attempt to continue. The car moved for about 3 minutes, and this time around it packed up totally and refused to walk further. They didn't know that the Jonah in the car was me. So the man called for another bus to come take us to Ibadan. And immediately we entered the other bus and we left. I looked back and the car had started. That was a testimony for me to never disobey the voice of the Lord ever again concerning my journey. Because without His mercy, it could have been worse. With His mercy, I realized that the prayer of the righteous, can be very powerful. Do not wait to have my experiences before you talk to the Lord about everything. But the simple gist is, every single thing that you consider important to do, it is considered important enough to talk to the Lord about. Alright? So, share this video to your loved ones. Let them know how and why it is important to present their life to the Lord and not lean on their own understanding alone. I'm sure this has blessed you. So, subscribe and share. Enjoy yourself.